students, this is Chintan Patel from the Mechanical Automobile Department of the LJ University, and in this video we are going to look at the practical performed on the punching press. So basically we are going to learn about the different press operations which is being carried out in this our setup of the punching press. But to start this particular learning, we are going to start our session with the aim of the practical. So our aim is to perform the blanking and the piercing operation on the press. So press is available in the workshop and we are going to perform the blanking and the piercing operation. But before we perform the blanking and the piercing operation, you need to understand what is blanking and what is piercing. So this diagram indicates the different types of the blanking and piercing, as you can see. So basically this is our scrap material or the raw material, in which we have generated a hole, as you can see, like this, a hole of the shape which is mentioned with this annotation, and due to the hole the remaining material is left over like this. This is our remaining material, but this is our required product. If this is our required product which is cut out or which is generated due to the creating of the hole into the raw material, then if this is our product, then this type of operation is known as the blanking operation. Now if you look at the same material, if you look at the same raw material, but if you look at differently, like here, if you perform the material operation over here, if you take this material and perform the hole or create the hole using the press, then it will cut out the hole like this. Okay, so this is the first hole and this is the second hole. So here also the material is cut out or material is removed from the original workpiece, but still this remaining material or the leftover material is of no use. It is a scrap material. We don't require this material. The thing which we require as a final product is this one. Then this type of operation is known as a punching operation, or it is also known as a piercing operation. So basically there is only one difference between those two operations. In both of the operations we are going to create the hole, but if the leftover or the remaining part which is being cut out of the raw material is used as the product, then it is known as a blanking operation. And if that particular product is being created by creating the hole, then this type of operation is known as a punching or a piercing operation. This portion, this workpiece, is also known as a blank. This also known as a blank, as it is made up by using the blanking operations. So now we are going to understand the apparatus that are used for this particular machine, that are used for this particular practical. That is, first is the punching press, and the material required is the metal strip. So punching press in our machine setup that is available at our premises is like this. As you can see, there are different types, there are different parts available which will be explained while the working of this particular punching press, but you can see the basic diagram of the picture of the punching press, where the material will be punched over here, and this is our punch which is being carried out using the flywheel like this, and a motor is used to drive this flywheel. So this is the basic setup of the punching press that you need to understand before starting the practical. So now we are going to understand the working of the punching press. So this working is explained in this schematic diagram. As you can see, this is our punch which is represented over here like this. This punch will be reciprocated, or it will be given a motion in the reciprocating manner like this, in a upside and downside direction. So as soon as this punch goes downward, then the material strip is fixed over here. This is our material strip. This is our material strip which is being kept over here, and as soon as this punch goes down, it will pierce this material strip and create the hole into that particular material, leaving out a blank out of the material which is represented in this diagram. So blank falling through the die can be seen in this diagram. Now what is die? Die is basically a setup or a block which is made up of the shape which is required to be created as the hole. So if you want to create a circular hole, your die will be of the shape circular hole. And if you want to create any other shape like a square or the rectangular, then you must use a die having the shape of the square or the rectangular hole accordingly. Okay, so basically the die will work as the guiding material, or will work as the guide to create the different types of the shape of the hole. This is the bolster plate. Basically this is one type of a plate which is used for the placing of the die. Strippers and ram are the part of the punching machine, which can be seen in our next part of the video. In the punching press, we need to supply some energy in the punch so that it can pierce the material and create a hole into the material. So basically we are producing a hole in a sheet metal. So our job will be like this type of a sheet metal that you can see over here. This is a sheet metal strip that we have carried out, that we have taken out from the batch of the sheet metal, which will be inserted into this particular thing that I will be explaining to you guys, and that will create the hole in this sheet metal like this. Okay, so our aim is to create a hole, create a blank and a piercing operation in this sheet metal. So for that, I will be explaining you the each and every components that is required to be understood for this particular machinery. First of all, the energy which is stored in the machine and which is supplied to the punch is stored in this particular flywheel, which is represented over here. So this is our flywheel that will store the energy from which is supplied through this motor. So this motor will be operated on the electricity that will rotate the particular pulley over here, and that pulley will be rotating the flywheel that is shown in this particular manner. This flywheel will carry the energy required for the punching, and that energy will be supplied over here to this gear. Now as you can see, this is a big gear which is connected with a pinion, a smaller gear over here, that is required for the reciprocating motion of the punch. So that will engage when we operate this particular foot lever. So as you operate this foot lever, that will engage this gear, and this gear will provide the reciprocating motion of the punch. So punch is over here. As you can see, the first one, that is the bigger one, that is required for the blanking operation, and the second one, that is the smaller one, is required for the piercing operation. The thing or the square block that you can see over here is a die. So die is basically a component, metal component, which is required to create the product. Now as per the requirement of the product, the die shape will change in the different types of the punching presses. So basically this is the setup that you need to understand before starting the operation. And now we will see the working of this machinery and create a blanking and a piercing operation into this. So now we will be seeing the working of this particular punching press. As you can see, the electricity is supplied to this motor, and this flywheel and the gear mechanism is working over here. And we have also created one initial hole into this strip. Now we will see how to carry out this type of a hole further into this strip. So for that we need to insert this strip into the die like this, and there is a one punch cork that is provided over here in the die. We will insert this cork into this particular hole so that it will provide a proper positioning of the sheet metal. So now you can see a proper positioning of the sheet metal. So as you can see, it is inserted and perfectly positioned into the die. Now after positioning it perfectly, now we can operate this foot lever over here. As soon as you operate the foot lever, it will give the reciprocating motion to the punch, and it will create our blanking and piercing operation simultaneously.
So as you can see, a second hole is created over here, and our complete product which is available from the bottom, our complete product would look like this. Where a blank is the product which is coming out from the punch. So this is our blank, and the piercing operation is carried out to create the center hole like this. So a blanking operation is the operation through which we will create this outer periphery or this particular product, and the piercing operation is to create the center hole into this. So this is how we are going to perform this particular punching press.